The Dodge Magnum, a magnificent forgotten failure. Let's talk about it. Well, first and foremost, I hope everyone had a great Christmas and has a good New Year's. I know everyone's waiting for the new year, 2021. Hope it's much better than the shit show we just endured. And that's kind of cool for my wife. She gave me this cool little heated jacket. It's not on right now. It's actually properly cold here in Virginia finally. We were supposed to get snow on Christmas, but we didn't. I saw a flurry, and I got my tea. I'm drinking tea now because I have a mini. Good day, mate! Whatever British people say. And if you saw this, I'm really sorry for that really bad impersonation. Well, this is my segment, Forgotten Failures. If you're not familiar, it's pretty much, I kind of give a highlight to a good car. Not necessarily a bad car, just for whatever reason, they were given a very short production run, and they're kind of unique and they deserve more attention. So first and foremost, here's a brief little history lesson on the Dodge Magnum. Now, as far as the American car market goes, this is actually the second incarnation. There was a 78 and 79 coupe Chrysler looking thing. Here's a picture of it. Yeah, and there were some other Mexican ones in South America, had some Magnums too. But I'm just gonna focus on the American market. Yeah, the original was a two-door coupe, nothing too exciting about it. But yeah, in any case, it was pretty forgettable. So fast forward to 2005, and then we had the new Dodge Magnum. It came in 3 trim levels, the SE, SXT, RT, and SRT-8, which is the one we will be talking about today. And if you weren't familiar, it shares a chassis with the Chrysler 300 and the Dodge Charger from that era. And if I'm not mistaken, it still uses the same chassis, geez, 16 years later. So you had 4 engine choices. You had crap, the 2.7, not as crappy, 3.5, the decent 5.7 Hemi, and the bored out 6.1 Hemi, which came in the SRT-8. Now the SRT-8 Magnum was pretty damn rare, and I was actually kind of shocked, even the research for this video, how rare it was. It only had 3 production years, 6, 7, and 8, and they only made just over 4,100 of these things. That's it. And I think the last year, no wait, they only made like 230 of them. So they're pretty damn rare. I didn't know that. Kind of cool. Makes them a little more exclusive. And you don't see them on the road ever. I see quite a few SXTs still. RTs are kind of a dime a dozen, but the SRT, nah, you never see them. And even to buy one, they're kind of hard to find now. On Auto Trader right now, I'm making this video, there's 5 for sale. Average price of about $24,000. It's kind of crazy a Dodge that old is fetching that much. That's not a Viper. So that's kind of weird. I guess there's kind of like a cult following for them. And they are kind of rare, so I get that. So what's so different about an SRT, let's say, versus an RT? There are more things than I thought, not just rims and the motor, of course. It had the new at the time 6.1 liter bored out Hemi. Hemi motor it's just kind of a slang term for hemispheric heads. The heads on top aren't flat; they're half of a sphere. And I'm not a Mopar guy, so please don't crucify me if I mess this up. But I think the spark's right on top, and then you have your intake and your air, so they kind of meet in this half cylinder or half hemispherical chamber. I think that's right. Again, I don't work on Dodges or anything. They're fine cars, I just don't know a lot about them. They're interesting. Anyways, that motor put out about 425, and back in 06, that was a lot. That was a lot of motor. You had 20-inch huge rims on a car, which is pretty, at the time, not common. You had a firmer suspension, it sat a little lower, Brembo brakes, calipers, complete front and rear fascia to give it a more mean, Dodge, angry look. And it was named the 2006 Best New Muscle Car by Canadian Motor Magazine. So there's that. Now, as far as the regular Magnum goes, even the RT, I was never a huge fan. It's kind of cool, I get the concepts. The rims were always just too tiny, especially on the SE and SXT. There's a station wagon, you know, nothing too exciting. However, the SRT sat just right. Whoever's in charge of exterior styling on that car did it perfect. The front and rear body kit they did was amazing. It sat just right. The stance was awesome with the rims, the calipers. Yeah, I was a huge fan. Even back when I was 2005, how old was I then? 19, 20? Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, it's a pretty cool station wagon going on. Good job, Dodge. And to ping more on the engine components, what they did, the cylinder walls themselves, they bored them about 3.5 millimeter to bump it up from 5.7 to 6.1. All the internals were reinforced. The crank, more stout reinforced block, larger valves in the heads, billet cam, and a hollow intake, and a couple little things. They tweaked it to let it really stretch its legs all the way to 6,400 RPM before redline, which is pretty good at the time for what it was. Not bad. Now the appearance of this thing, like I mentioned before, the SRT-8 definitely stood apart from the three lesser models. Those could kind of get mixed up easily if you're not a car person, but if you knew cars and knew what they were, you could easily tell them apart, an SRT from the other three. Like, oh, that's a hot car. I don't know what it is, but it looks really damn cool. And personally, I think the Magnum SRT has a really timeless, classic design. I think it'll age well. Looking at them online, I'm like, that's still a pretty good looking car. It looks pretty cool. Has a really cool presence, especially in person with those rims. They're so damn big. It's almost too big, but it fits. It fits the car perfect. Given its hauling capabilities and its utility and usefulness, I'm surprised more dads at the time didn't flock to this thing, you know, convincing their wives, like, no babe, it's just a station wagon with some flashy wheels on it. That's all it is. So, I don't know, I guess most of them went for the RT model. Quick note, now that I'm a dad, I definitely get the lure of it more than I did then. If I came across one, I'd still probably rather have a CTSV wagon, just because I'm a Chevy guy. But they're both pretty cool. I mean, if I came across one with good shape, good price, I'd probably pick it up. The interior on all four trim levels, nothing too crazy, pretty basic Dodge for the time. They were pretty much identical across all four trim levels. If you've seen a Charger interior, you've seen this. As the trim got higher, you got better quality leather seats, and in the SRT, you got larger bolstering with Alcantara inserts and stitching behind you in the seat back that read SRT-8. That's kind of cool, I guess. And paint options, there weren't many available. You had red, and then a different color red, silver, black, and a light blue. That's it, no yellow. I like yellow cars, in case you didn't know. I think that car would have looked amazing in yellow. So, alright, so what happened to it? Kind of a perfect storm, if you will. It came out right before the huge recession in 07, 8, 9 time frame. And the fact that at the time they were labeled wagon and not crossover, I think it scared away a lot of dudes. Like, I don't want a wagon, that's lame. But he called it crossover. Oh, it doesn't sound as bad. So it could have been just poor marketing paired with economic factors as well. And this is also at the time that, for whatever reason, during the gas crunch, SUV sales were taking off and large pickups were taking off. So there wasn't really a segment. It couldn't really compete with that segment. There was an all-wheel drive variant of the SXT, but no one wanted the SXT. You know what I mean? You don't get a retro-looking station wagon muscle car for V6. You know, it's kind of lame. But perhaps the nail in the coffin, and this was what actually did do them in, was the fact that Daimler sold their shares of Chrysler. So Chrysler lost all their rights to all the Mercedes parts. A lot of their cars at the time, if you weren't familiar, used a lot of Mercedes parts, i.e. some of the PT Cruiser parts, the Crossfire, the Magnum, and there was something else at the time. I don't remember the top of my head. But yeah, so pretty much Mercedes was like, yeah, we're done with you. Give us all of our parts back. So they were kind of just left like, all right, I guess we'll stop making it. And that's what they did. Now, I would definitely love to see a revival of the Magnum. Knowing Dodge, they probably will at some time. They like to recycle old namesakes, I've noticed. I'm still waiting on a new Barracuda. I don't care if they call it a Chrysler Barracuda or Dodge or a Superbird. That would be interesting to see what they could do with it. But yeah, I'd like to see it, yeah, especially being a dad now with a family, I would like to see them try it again. And they didn't do a bad job last time, it just their marketing sucked. So, yeah. Well, there you have it. There's the interesting case of the Dodge Magnum SRT. Hopefully you learned a little something about the Magnum today. Found this interesting. And I will be back with the door part of the sound installation soon. I just gotta get it edited and uploaded to you guys. So, and hopefully I'll have it up before New Year's. But if not, you guys have a good New Year, and I'll catch you guys next time. Later.